What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Welcome back into JC's Pop Culture with me, JC, where you can see all kinds of pop culture content. Could be anything from EA Sports college football news to movie reviews or what we have today, TV series news, and more specifically, of course, talking about the man in the mask there behind me, the shape himself, Michael Myers. Halloween TV series update finally shared by Miramax. I know it's been seems like forever since I put out a Halloween update here on the channel, but that's because, ever since it was announced that Miramax was getting the rights, they were maybe planning, a universe of some type and shit. We haven't really heard a ton, haven't really heard of Pete. Been waiting to hear that news and been excited to see what they're going to do with it. So it sounds like that TV series may be coming, sooner than we expected. So, I won't babble on about it too much before I share it with you guys. I'll share my thoughts after. Let me show it on the screen here. This is the statement from Miramax here in regards to the upcoming Halloween TV series, kind of teasing us a little bit, not giving us a ton, but it definitely, is thought-provoking, you know what I'm saying? No one knows what it means, but it's provocative. It gets the fucking people going, right? Shout out to Will Ferrell, but here's what we got. Halloween TV series from Mark Helwig over at Miramax. The foundation of it is the original film, the John Carpenter movie, hell yes. The characters of that film and perhaps a group of characters that we haven't really focused on that much in recent film versions or even in a number of them. It's a creative reset completely and going back to the original film as opposed to spitting out of any more of the recent film adaptations. We're on a fast track. It's a big priority for us. We've had lots of exciting conversations in recent months with a number of really talented people, and I think we'll have a pretty good idea of what we're going to be doing very soon. We're hoping to lock down the creative team very soon. And so that's pretty much all he says there. So listen, here's where I'm at with this shit. I think that this has the potential to be a really good idea. Obviously, a lot of people were worried, oh, fuck, are they picking up after Halloween ends? It's going to be Corey Cunningham. So I think they wanted to put that shit to bed right there. Is it going to include that? How do you pick up off of that? It's kind of a definitive end as well. Who knows? But they've definitely, left the door open, especially in the original ending, more so than the one that we ended up seeing in theaters and shit. But I digress on that movie. Don't need to talk any more about that than we have to, right? But when the first paragraph here is what I'm intrigued by, because the foundation of the show, they're saying, is the original film, which is awesome. The OG John Carpenter film, my personal favorite, probably a lot of your personal favorites and shit as well. I think one of the best parts of the David Gordon Green trilogy was in Halloween Kills when they did that 78 flashback and did it so fucking beautifully. That was awesome. So I love the fact that this TV series is going back and using that original film as its foundation. But now we got to wonder, what does that mean? Is this going to be a period piece? Does this take place in 78? Are you kind of redoing that? And so then the next sentence here is what kind of gets me a little bit worried, because they say the characters of that film and perhaps a group of characters that we haven't really focused on that much in recent film versions or even in a number of them. The second part of the sentence, hell yes, a group of characters that we haven't really focused on. Maybe it's someone that was in the background in the original film or something, and then kind of expand on that story. Maybe it's someone that Dr. Loomis knew. Do you bring back Dr. Loomis? Do you recast Dr. Loomis? I don't know. I mean, if you're going back to that original film, you got to think he's going to fucking play a part in some way, right? But I think the thing that I'm worried about is where they're saying the characters of that original film. Personally, and if you don't share this opinion, that's fine. It's just my opinion. But I'm just kind of done with the Laurie Strode stuff. Yeah, I know it feels probably integral to Halloween. You got to have Michael Myers, you got to have Laurie Strode. But, man, have we not fucking beat that horse to death already? It was played good by Jamie Lee Curtis. She's done a fantastic job with it. She's come back not once, not, twice now to, wrap up the character essentially. And I think definitively for her, she felt like she put the nail in the coffin. For me, I feel like the nail's in the coffin for Laurie Strode. Let's move on to some different characters now and try and see Michael, attack a different group of people, tell a completely different story that can still take place in that same universe. And that's what I'm really hoping this TV series does, is because, we've always pretty much dealt, even in the Rob Zombie remakes, it's retelling the same story and shit. And if you're going back to the original film, we all know that story now. How much different can you tell it? How much different can you make it? So I like the second part of this where it says perhaps a group of characters that we haven't really focused on that much. Because to me, that's what fucking Halloween needs to do. You need to get Michael Myers right first and foremost, obviously. Get the look right, get the mask right, characteristics, all that shit. That's the main thing. But if you get that right and you nail that down, then you can pretty much do whatever within that universe. We don't have to have Laurie Strode. I mean, you can bring in Dr. Loomis. Personally, I'm going to love Dr. Loomis. I would love to bring him in, but you don't have to. You need Michael Myers, and you need, a group of, young teens, young adults, whatever you're going to go with, that he's essentially kind of after in the film for whatever reason, or that's in his path. He's not necessarily chasing them because he's just out there, fucking with reckless abandon, trying to, slash some motherfuckers and shit. Because that's all we really want. We want the stalking scenes, we want the tension build up, we want all of that to be good. Whatever universe that exists in is fine as long as you get Michael right. That's my personal opinion. Especially though, I think that the good side of this is you're going back to that original film as the foundation for this series, and you've got a lot of good possibilities to spring out from that. Because, like I said, you can take a different cast of characters. There was just barely mentioned in Halloween, the original Halloween. What if it's not even in Haddonfield? What if it's in Russellville? It's a different, change the setting up entirely, but still, keep that same tone, honor that shit. Also, what if you want to focus more on Dr. Loomis? You bring in a good name actor. They said they're talking to some really interested people. I always thought that would be interesting if we're following Dr. Loomis and maybe the Halloween, the Michael Myers stuff is happening concurrently, and it's not necessarily the main story that we're focusing on in the TV series. It's Dr. Loomis trying to solve a different case, because, you remember that original scene with the caretaker at the graveyard talking about Charlie Bowles or whatever. There could be some different shit Dr. Loomis is looking into, and then all of a sudden, he hears about this Laurie Strode shit, and the Halloween 78 movie is kind of going on concurrently. I don't know exactly. I'm not the fucking guy making the story. I'm just throwing ideas out there randomly that I think would be intriguing, and all kinds of stuff that, piques your mind when you talk about them going back to that original film as the foundation, but doing something different with it, especially in a long format like we're going to see here, TV series wise. Hopefully we get a good platform for this shit. I know Peacock was previously in, the relation of the last, trilogy of films. I don't know if that'll be the direction here. I think, Chucky's had a good life there for the Child's Play fans. Hopefully, that would be good for Halloween as well. Netflix, I think, is definitely a possibility. I think Mark Helwig has a relationship with Netflix. We'll just have to see who the creative team is and shit first. But as that news comes out, we'll talk about it more here on JC's Pop Culture for sure. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Are you excited about this news? What would be your idea for this, kind of TV series that they're talking about with the original John Carpenter 78 film as the foundation? What would you do with that if you were playing in that universe? Because it's certainly a large sandbox, and you could build a lot of fucking cool sand castles in there, So I'm excited to see where they go with this. And as more news comes about, I'll talk about it more here on JC's Pop Culture. But let me know your thoughts there in the comments. I always appreciate those interactions, helping to grow the channel and shit, as does hitting that little thumbs up button. Just giving us a like there helps feed that YouTube algorithm and helps this channel grow a lot. But having said that, if you are into movies and TV series like this Halloween one, I'm talking about movies and TV shows a lot here on the channel, especially horror, superhero, and comedies. That's kind of my main avenues there. So if those sound like you're up your alley, be sure hit the subscribe button, hop along for the ride here at JC's Pop Culture with me, JC. We'll be talking about those things a shit ton here on the channel, as well as EA Sports College Football 25 news. So having said that, appreciate you tuning into this one, and I'll catch you on the next one.